Hey everybody, welcome to Beaming Notes, and today we're going to look at the summary of the poem The Brook by Alfred Tennyson. Summary, stanza 1. I come from haunts of coot and hern, I make a sudden sally, and sparkle out among the fern to bicker down a valley. The brook starts out from the dwelling place of birds such as the coot, a water bird, and the hern. It makes a sudden rush as it flows out. The presence of sunlight causes the brook's water to sparkle as it flows among the fern. It then continues its journey by flowing down a valley. While doing so, the sound of the flowing brook resembles that of people quarreling, hence the phrase bicker down a valley. Summary, stanza 2. By 30 hills I hurry down or slip between the ridges, by 20 thorps a little town, and 100 bridges. The brook flows down along hills. Sometimes it also glides between long and narrow hill ranges called ridges. Thorps refer to small villages or hamlets. Between two small towns, the brook passes several thorps and a large number of bridges. Numbers used in this line, such as 30, 20, 100, should not be taken in the literal sense. These numbers are used to give the impression of several or many and to maintain the rhythm of the poem. Stanza 3 and 4. Till last by Philip's farm I flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. I chatter over stony ways in little sharps and trebles. I bubble into eddying bays, I babble on the pebbles. Finally, the brook passes Philip's farm and flows into overflowing river. The brook further states that men are transient. They come and go over time, but it outlives men and continues forever. The lines, "For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever," are repeated several times in the entire poem. As the brook flows over stony paths, its water makes a chattering sound. This sound is high-pitched, hence the phrase sharps and trebles, both high-pitched notes in music. As water flows past an obstacle, a reverse motion is created that leads to swirling. These are known as eddies. A lot of bubbles are also formed. As the brook flows over pebbles, the sound it makes is similar to that made while talking rapidly. Hence the phrase babble on the pebbles. Summary, stanza 5 and 6. With many a curve my banks I fret, by many a field and fallow, and many a fairy foreland set, with willow weed and mallow. I chatter, chatter as I flow, to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. The brook does not flow in a straight line. It makes a lot of turns and edges out of path full of curves. Fret means fuss or worry. The brook forms so many curves that it seems as if it is constantly troubling its banks to change shape. The brook continues beside many fields as well as fallow lands. Fairy forelands refer to promontories. These are masses of land that overlook the brook. These promontories are home to plants such as willow weed and mallow. The brook passes them on its journey. As the brook flows on its way to the overflowing river, it makes a continuous sound. The sound is like that of people talking. Hence the line, I chatter, chatter as I flow. The brook repeats that although men are transient, it goes on forever. Summary, stanzas 7 to 9. I wind about and in and out, with here a blossom sailing, and here and there a lusty trout, and here and there a grayling, and here and there a foamy flake upon me as I travel, with many a silvery water break above the golden gravel, and draw them all along and flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. The brook coils and twists on its way to the river. An occasional flower can be seen on its surface. the floating blossom appears to be sailing on the brook. The brook is also home to freshwater fish such as trout and grayling. The trout is a vigorous and energetic fish, hence Tennyson calls it lusty. Due to occasional turbulent flow, flakes of foam are produced which float on the flowing brook. Water breaks are breaks on the brook's surface caused by unevenness of its bed. These water breaks reflect the sun that makes them appear silver. Gravel is usually of a brownish yellow hue, hence the phrase golden gravel. The brook draws along with it several floating objects as it flows towards the river, hence the poem's refrain is repeated. Summary, stanza 10. I steal by lawns in grassy plots, I slide by hazel covers, I move the sweet forget-me-nots that grow for happy lovers. The brook flows by grassy stretches. It passes by land covered with hazel, a type of shrub. Forget-me-nots are low-growing plants with bright blue flowers. They often grow on the banks of streams, sometimes even touching the water surface. Forget-me-not flowers are often a sign of faithfulness and enduring love. Hence, they are often associated with lovers. As the brook flows, it gently moves the flowers that touch the water. Summary, stanza 11. I slip, I slide, I gloom, I glance among my skimming swallows, I make the netted sunbeam dance against my sandy shallows. The brook uses the words slip, slide, gloom, glance to describe its movements. Swallows often hunt for insects on the water surface. They skim the water surface to capture the insects. The brook glides among these skimming swallows. The brook is constantly moving. It also carries with it numerous fish, floating blossoms, etc. Swallows often fly over it. Hence, the sunlight that falls on the bed of the brook appears like a net instead of a continuous entity. Sandy shallows refer to the shallow part of the brook that contains a lot of deposited sand and silt. As the brook moves, the netted sunbeam falling on the shallow bed appears to dance. Summary, stanza 12. I murmur under moon and stars in brambly wildernesses. I linger by my shingly bars, I loiter round my cresses. Wilderness refers to a wild and uninhabited region. Brambles are often found in such places. Hence, Tennyson refers to such regions as brambly wildernesses. In quiet nights, as the brook passes over numerous pebbles and uneven land, it makes a certain sound. In the silent wilderness, such sounds can be clearly heard. The sound reminds one of murmuring. It is as if the brook is talking to itself. Shingles are accumulated masses of small pebbles. Elevated regions in a brook made of such accumulated mass deposited by flow are referred as shingly bars. Shingles are usually found in the slowest moving part of a brook. Hence, the brook says that it lingers by such places. Cresses in this case refer to the watercress that often grows on the edges of the brook. As the brook passes these tufts of watercress, its water seems to coalesce among the plants. Hence, the word loiter is used. Summary, stanza 13. And out again I curve and flow to join the brimming river. For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. The brook leaves the wilderness, the shingly bars and the watercress behind and flows in graceful curves towards the river. It ends with the refrain that although the human life is transient, but the flow of the brook is perpetual.